All right, hello. I'm back, and I have a bit of an issue, as you can tell by the title of this video. Apparently, you can copyright melodies on YouTube, and at first I thought this was, pretty bullshit. I mean, that just sounds like a joke, right? Um, Apparently, that is a legit thing that you can copyright. And people have been doing it for years and years. Music copyright is just incredibly predatory. It seems like there's no real way to fight back against that sort of shit, and it feels really unnecessary and unfair. Like cover artists, especially, like that pretty much makes it impossible. Um, and this all kind of stems from the Dojo's Got Talent collaboration that we hosted on the Dojo Cast. I found it interesting because I put a lot of extra time into ensuring that we wouldn't have any copyright issues whatsoever. Um, I made sure to ask everyone who included music in their entry to provide a source saying that we had permission to use that music. Um, and then Hyun used it was the sweater song, and I'm not going to sing it because then that's going to get claimed on this video for being a melody, which is just the stupidest fucking thing. Um, Apparently, just singing Tom Kenny's sweater song from SpongeBob SquarePants is enough for them to claim the video. And thankfully, this one didn't take all of the revenue, so I am still getting some revenue from it, which at this point is becoming more important to try and profit off of them even a little bit. They do not make a lot of money. I also want to add that. So, but the issue that I have is more so with YouTube. Not necessarily in terms that they allow you to content ID a melody, which also to me seems like a waste of resources on their end to have to look for that sort of shit. Um, Also, that's just, I don't know. It opens up a whole Pandora's box, right? Of what you can and can't copyright, what you can and can't do in a video. Was there something in the background that was accidentally playing? Oh, well, now you're copyrighted. Um, but that's okay. That's not necessarily my issue. That's more of an issue with the copyright rule itself. My issue is with how split revenue works on YouTube. I am fine with the concept. I understand. If anything, I think it's a really good option to have on YouTube is to have shared revenue. Say if you are using a song that you don't explicitly have permission to use, but the rights holder has set it up in the Content ID system that it won't remove your video, it won't block your video, and it won't take all of the revenue, but it will take a percentage. Conceptually, yes, that's great, and I'm totally down for that. I think it's fair. It's the lawful thing to do, and it saves YouTube a lot of the trouble. But the issue is that they don't tell you what percentage they're going to take, right? Pardon me. Um, I would assume that the percentage of the video that's being the percentage of the revenue that's being taken is equivalent to the duration that the melody or the content ID, whatever is found and is now sharing. I am expecting it to only take revenue for that portion of the video, which out of the 37 minute long video, that song was only being sang for probably less than 30 seconds. So they should only be taking like a fraction of the revenue. But again, they don't really tell you until like you kind of have to do the math yourself and find out if they've taken revenue or not. I don't think it has an impact on the video's performance. Every source that I could find in research told me that having a video with split revenue does not impact its performance. I know sometimes with like demonetized videos or copyrighted videos, it can impact the video's performance to varying degrees. but from what I could find, split revenue videos do not impact their viewership. Um, I mean, the video on the Hyun's Dojo channel did way better than the video on my channel. Has the same exact copyright. Um, I suppose I could take action and remove the audio, remove or replace that audio. They do give you that option to edit in post, like on YouTube Studio. But then that just ruins Hyun's part entirely. And I don't want to sacrifice the quality of the video just so that I can, you know, potentially salvage whatever percentage they're taking. And again, that's really the biggest issue that I have with it, is the percentage is unknown. They could be taking a percentage equivalent to the duration that the copyrighted material appears in the video, or they could just take whatever they want. It's not very clear at all what guidelines there are for what percentage gets to be taken. I would hope that is only the percentage of the video that the copyrighted material is a part of, but there is no way to tell. But I just recently took to my analytics to see if I could find any information, go through my revenue, more importantly, on Dojo's Got Talent, as well as Bing Bong Ball. Now, Bing Bong Ball obviously was a much bigger video, but ultimately across most of my modern collabs, a pretty good metric to gauge the revenue that your video is making is to see how much advertisers are willing to pay per 1,000 views, and YouTube does give you that metric. For Bing Bong Ball, it said it was about $3.45 every 1,000 views, because I did the calculation, it was about a third of that. And then for Dojo's Got Talent, which is similar in build, of course a different energy collab, but I think you could still pull a lot of similarities between the two. The duration, it is a longer video, 11 minutes longer, so you know that might have a bit of an impact. But it had a higher percentage watch-through period, or retention, that's the term, which means that the average viewer watched about 20% of the video before clicking off. On Bing Bong Ball, it was 5% less than that. So if my calculations are right, Bing Bong Ball should have been making less money, but the rate on Dojo's Got Talent per every 1,000 views that advertisers were paying came out to about, again, it told me a higher number than was actually accurate, but it was actually even less than Bing Bong Ball collab, which leads me to believe that the split revenue is taking a much larger percent of the video than I think is fair. Now, I can't exactly argue it because, yeah, the claim is it's accurate. It's completely 100% accurate. And there are precautions in YouTube copyright that if you argue copyrighted material and you just try to dispute it, you can potentially have a copyright strike on your channel, which if you get enough of those, then your channel can get taken down entirely. So I really try my best not to fuck with that sort of stuff. We, on the Dojo Cast, for example, we have learned that content ID on visual media, animations especially, is pretty severe. In the Bog episode, the reason that it was re-uploaded on the Dojo channel as a video is because it got copyrighted because we showed a clip that we were discussing from an anime. I forget what the anime was called. But we played a clip on it, a clip that AC Beam, the creator of Bog, was directly referencing, telling us that this is what was a part of what inspired the character. So it was important context, but you know, we were also doing it transformatively. But I guess that's just not enough anymore. It used to be enough of an argument that you could just say that you're using their content transformatively, and then you can keep monetization. But Content ID does not care. And to argue against that Content ID, as Hyun did, resulted in a strike on the Dojo channel. which again I just find completely bullshit. It was used within context. We were not just ripping the entire episode, but as I said, to argue it would, result in that sort of shit. So we had another episode on the new Dojo Cast channel where we played a little clip from Hank Hill. Not Hill, that's a character's name. King of the Hill. Yeah, King of the Hill. And that got the entire episode demonetized. Thankfully, not, I don't think it got blocked anywhere. If it did, I think it was minimal. Maybe it didn't get blocked in too many places. Yeah, I don't know. It is ridiculous. Oh, okay. Another smaller thing that I want to kind of complain about in relation to YouTube copyright is with that editing tool that they give you in post. Like after you post a video in YouTube Studio, you can go and edit a video, meaning that you can cut content out, replace audio, stuff like that. And when you do get a copyright claim, they advise you to actually take action in changing the video using that editor, so that way you can have that claim removed. And you can, the video can now be monetized again. But what they don't tell you is for premiered videos or live videos with a live chat feed, when you edit a video, it just gets rid of that. It just gets rid of the live chat afterwards, which I suppose isn't a huge issue because we do have a displayed chat. But like for, what was it? It was the episode where we launched the new Dojo website, and one of the trailers that we showed had copyrighted music, and it was blocking it like most territories in the world. And so we decided to use the YouTube editor and get rid of the music. So, if you look back on that episode, one of the trailers is just completely silent. That is why, because the music was very heavily copyrighted and restricted. And then we didn't know that that would erase the chat history for that premiere for the entire video until we had already done it. Like, there was no warning beforehand. So that's another big issue that I have with them. Does it really matter in the large scheme of things? No, but it would have been nice to run back and see what the live chat thought of everything that was premiering that day. But, now anything that didn't have the live chat on screen for us is just lost. We can't see it anymore, unfortunately. And that's just upsetting. It still is an issue that I would like to see them fix, but is it the end of the world? No. I think this revenue sharing issue is a lot bigger of a deal. My collabs don't make a lot of money. I'll be fully honest. On Bing Bong Ball, I want you to tell me either in the comments or just say it out loud here, how much money you think it has made in the over 600,000 views it has gotten since upload. Okay? Now I'm going to exit the game briefly, and I'm going to go over to my YouTube Studio page. It has made just over $1,000. And that is significant for my channel, but obviously I'm not able to live off of anything close to that. Again, this video has been out for since June. So it's July, August, September, October, about 4.5 months now. And it's just crossed over 1,000. And this is by far my most profitable video, I've ever released. Dojo's Got Talent is severely under that because of that copyright. Obviously, it doesn't have that many views on my channel, but it still would have made a much bigger impact if YouTube did not suppress it as much. Or not suppress it. They're not suppressing it. It's still doing fine on the algorithm, just doing better on the Dojo channel. But that revenue cut is just way bigger than it should be, right? Like, how is it fair at all that a company as big as Nickelodeon, or whoever they work with for their music rights and management, how is it fair that they're able to take a larger percentage of that video's cut than what was showed in the video? I don't know. Obviously, it's greedy companies, and if I try to dispute it, it's not going to go well for me, so I'm not going to try. But I would just like more clarity on how the split revenue system works. They explicitly tell you that you are not able to know, you're not allowed to know what percentage of the video that that copyright is taking. They could be taking 99% of your revenue. They could be taking less than 1% of your revenue. But they don't tell you anywhere. You kind of have to find it out for yourself, but even then, it's still fairly difficult to come up with accurate information and come to a final conclusion. So I can't really tell you what percentage they're taking, but based on the other videos on my channel and how they have performed, it seems like they've taken a considerable amount. Not 99%, definitely not 99%. But enough for me to want to complain about it. If they had taken like 1%, like I'd say no more than like 5-10%, then I would have been fine. But it seems like they're taking a lot more than that. I'd say it's close to like maybe a quarter of the revenue for like less than 30 seconds of audio, where Hyun is horribly singing the sweater song from SpongeBob. And it's just ridiculous. Copyright has gotten so ridiculous on YouTube. And, you know, there's a bunch of other instances where it's just outright abused by people who don't even own the rights to some of this music. If you don't have a copyright claim on your music, someone else can just decide that it's theirs and then just manually copyright your video. You don't even have to have any copyrighted content on your video, and they can still decide that your video is now theirs. The revenue from your video is now theirs, using a copyright that has no presence in your video at all. It's many people who this has happened to. I don't want to sound completely ungrateful, because YouTube is one of the few online platforms that is willing to take this kind of action to at least try and protect its creators. I know it sounds ironic because they're, you know, providing a system that is easily abused. But most platforms don't even have this kind of system, so you do kind of have to give them credit for that. But this is also like a multi-billion-dollar company, so I'm not going to give them too much slack. I just want to know what percentage they're taking and why it's that large. I don't know why it has to be secretive if it's, you know, money from a video that I made, that I published, using all of my time. Why I am not allowed to know what percentage they're taking from my video. Ultimately, it's not that big of a deal. It's just frustrating. The video didn't make that much revenue anyway. But I just wish that I would have some level of clarity. It's very frustrating that I took all these precautions to make sure that I didn't run into any copyright issues on YouTube. And then, lo and behold, Hyun sings a song poorly, and, you know, there goes a percentage of the revenue. So no matter what you could argue, the video is less profitable because of that, those, like, 20 to 30 seconds. So, I don't know. I could just be complaining a lot. I am. I definitely am. But I feel like it's not... Like, it's fair to argue that we should know how much money they're taking from our work, right? Because that's not the work that they put in. They wrote, I think Tom Kenny probably just fucking improvised that shit. I wouldn't be surprised if he did. And I don't even think like Tom Kenny's name is on it. I don't think Tom Kenny cared that much to for him to go out of his way to send a copyright for melody. I don't know. It is ridiculous. Oh, and the weirder thing about it is that I had uploaded the video several times privately to my channel, and even when a video is marked as private on YouTube, it still runs Content ID, just in case you end up deciding to publicize it in the future. You know, they kind of have to legally, and you know, I'm fine with that. I think it's fair. And I didn't get any copyright issues at all in any of these private uploads. Which tells me that this copyright was done, this claim was done manually. So someone had to have seen that, be like, they're using our song. They're singing our song. We can copyright that, right? And that just feels, it feels wrong. The manual Content ID system just feels messed up, especially how you can abuse it. And honestly, I have no idea if it's actually Nickelodeon, or whatever they're providing. You know, let me actually look at what it says. Copyright. Sweater song, melody or lyrics, sharing revenue. See details. Claimants UMPG Publishing, Solar Music, Rights Management, UMPI, Latin Author Perf. Those are the details that it gives me. Now, after this recording, I might go and look farther into that because I am relatively suspicious, moderately suspicious, that it wasn't even the right people who sent the claim, because it's happened before. I wouldn't be surprised. Though usually they end up just trying to take all the revenue from the video, not just sharing revenue. But it's also a little weird to me that a company that big is setting it as split revenue, or maybe that's just the rule for Melodies on YouTube. I don't know. There's still a lot that I have yet to properly research and give my full attention and time. I just think it's irritating and annoying, and I hope someday in the future YouTube can fix this issue. Really, it's ultimately just a communication issue on my behalf. I would like to know how much money they're taking. And I feel like that is a completely fair thing to ask, but they just, for whatever reason, they just don't want to tell you. So, yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to say. Thanks for listening to me ramble and argue about this. I don't think this is ever actually going to be fixed, but it irritates me that this is even something that I have to think about. It's melody now on YouTube. If you sing a song, you can get copyrighted, even for not using the actual music itself, just for singing, just for humming something. It's ridiculous. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say. So, thanks for watching. I'll see ya. Bye.